This player's driving me crazy. I don't know what to do. They're gonna ruin my campaign.
Is one of your players driving you crazy and you don't know what to do? Are you worried they're going to ruin your campaign? Act now and order our 27-volume VHS box set, and you'll never have another problem player at your table again.
Hello, I'm Dungeon Master Wolf, and with me today is Dungeon Master Kamo.
And together we have almost 2 decades of dungeon mastering experience.
We're both trained and certified in dozens of tabletop RPGs, and Kamo is a licensed masseuse. Dungeon Master prep work is a grueling exercise in pointless futility, much like Sisyphus rolling a boulder uphill for eternity.
You gotta train your mind, practice rolling dice, studying arcane tomes, maintaining a healthy diet, and making sure your muscles are prepared for anything.
One player can ruin all of this hard work in a single moment.
They are the Saboteur.
Joining us today is expert in the field of Dungeons & Dragons player psychology, Dr. Eugene Dingus Poop.
It's pronounced Dingus Poop.
Yep, just say the words, Doc.
Very well. In my research, I have diagnosed precisely 3 detrimental saboteur personality types. The narcissist, the self-saboteur, and the sleeper agent.
Thanks, Doc, you're a genius. Check your Venmo. This player is probably the most disruptive at the table. They choose to sabotage the game with their aversion to collaboration, their detrimental character flaws, their backstories that sidetrack the party, and their unwillingness or inability to bite on obvious DM plot hooks.
You'll notice right away that this player can bring down the mood of a session, can halt story progress, and generally derail the good times. They can often be moody, bitter, or stubborn just because the plot is not driven the way that they imagined it. Given the opportunity, they will often hold the spotlight hostage. Storytelling be damned.
Then we have the self-saboteur. They're not trying to sabotage the game. It just sort of happens, unintentionally. The self-saboteur is usually a new player to your group, or they're new to role-playing games in general.
The underlying issue here is only that they just haven't learned to play with others in a group. They haven't developed these skills yet, and they haven't formed bonds with the other players.
The self-saboteur is usually enthusiastic, but they're oblivious to the problems that their actions are causing.
They are so excited to play and to show off their character that they don't have any idea that their actions are causing tensions between players.
For example, this new player, they might create this tough, gritty, iron-willed character and roleplays them so well that the rest of the party wants to murder them.
Self-saboteurs can actually become some of the best D&D players. It's really just about reharnessing that enthusiastic energy in a more positive light.
This player is a ticking time bomb waiting to explode and toss your entire game into chaos. They are very similar to the narcissist, except they're more silent and brooding.
When at long last they unleash their pent-up resentment of the current plot and stab it in the back.
You stabbed me!
The rest of the players might be attempting to resolve a situation peacefully when the sleeper agent starts stabbing things in the back without consulting the party. What do we do? How do we remind this player that we're creating a collective narrative with everyone in the game?
Try reminding this player to be like Samwise from Lord of the Rings. Sam hates the plot involving Gollum and all of the obvious dangers that it presents. He could have blown up the entire campaign by going back to the Shire, looking for Aragorn, killing Smeagol, or just standing there refusing to do nothing while eating potatoes.
Potatoes?
Calm down, Sam. The story ended up way better because he chose to tag along and see where the journey would take him. It didn't take away anything from his personality, his backstory, his motives, or his actions. Same old G. And later on, the Dungeon Master gives Sam his moment of, I told you so, and he actually becomes the hero. Don't stop forward progress because you think that your solutions are the only solutions. Be a team player.
Speaking of potatoes, some food for thought. Maybe perhaps you've created a saboteur at your own table due to your own negligence. As a DM, you may not be giving each player enough time to shine in the spotlight. The best part about any D&D session is allowing each player to feel important with every contribution and idea.
That's what my character would do. That's what my character would do.
That's what my character would do.
That's what my character would do.
Stop it!
When you hear this phrase, try to challenge your players and ask them instead, okay, that's cool, but tell me what your character would do with the party. Before things spiral out of control and get out of hand, you gotta speak up.
Let's say we're running a single session of D&D for our friends, a one-shot. All the players have formed a party, they've taken the bait, and they're ready for tonight's adventure. Well, almost everyone. One player decides to ignore the NPC quest giver and says, that's what my character would do.
As a dungeon master, you're going to rely on your improv skills, your improv gut, and yes and this person in this situation. The NPC quest giver is going to say, okay, and they're going to leave. This is a natural consequence for the choice that this player has made. The NPC here is acting in the most realistic way possible. Fine, the NPC, they don't have to force this player to do anything.
Regardless of the player's decision, we've handed them the improv ball. We've done our part. Now it's their turn to do theirs. Now it's their turn to reinsert themselves into the story. If you see that they've recognized that they've missed the boat and they're not really figuring it out, the DM can finally ask, how do you see your character joining this adventure? And this isn't meant to be a punishment. It's just a reminder of the social contract. Every tabletop role-playing game has a social contract that is unspoken, but we all sign when we sit down to play the game.
Part of the social contract is that tabletop role-playing games, they are way better when everyone buys into the collective narrative. Every player, and even the dungeon master, we're a cog spinning in unison to make the machine go round and round. The saboteur player, they're a cog that has either chosen to stop spinning or spin in an entirely different direction altogether.
So please take this advice to heart. Buy into the collective narrative that is being told by your friends. Buy into those stories and choices that the other players are interested in. And don't worry, we're here to tell your story too. It almost works like a Jedi mind trick. When you buy into the stories of other players, they're more inclined to buy into your stories. Try your hardest not to be that problem player. Try not to be the saboteur. Be the hero you signed up to pretend to be. And you'll end up being the hero in real life and at the table.
I'm healed. I'm a good player now. Everything's gonna be good. I love your stories. I love your stories. That thing you were doing earlier, that was cool. And I'm sorry, Brioche, but I have to put you back down on the floor. You're gonna fucking hate me.